Hi everybody, welcome back to Geezer Rider. As always, please, if you like the channel and you want to get notified when we put up new videos, hit subscribe. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you would leave a comment about this video or others that you would like to see, topics you'd like covered, etc. In this video, we are going to discuss biker mortality. That's right, everybody. You ride a motorcycle, you're going to die. I guarantee it. I'll bet you $1 million you're going to die. Life is a pre-existing condition, and we're all subject to the illness. Tongue in cheek, but that's the reality of it. And, you know, a bit of an icebreaker here, just to put things in context. So why this video and why now? We normally go down middle of the road. We're pro motorcycle enthusiast, pro biker. This video is being recorded in mid-November 2019. The holidays are upon us. We have, you know, Thanksgiving, Hanukkah, Christmas coming up, and we're going to be talking to our loved ones. And, you know, I don't know about you, but I have found infuriating over the years, otherwise well-meaning people, you know, having that conversation with you, you know, oh, you know, you must not take your responsibility seriously. Why don't you care about your children, nieces, nephews, grandparents, mother, father, spouse, daughter, son, grandchildren, what have you? And the idea here is the premise that everybody has is that this is an extremely high risk activity. Spoiler alert, they're not wrong. But that needs to be put in context. And it always amazes me when you try and turn the tables a little bit on somebody when you have this discussion. You know, it doesn't have to be heated. It doesn't have to be acrimonious. You know, you can have a logical debate about this. You can have a discourse and treat it as a teachable moment, right? You may have the ability to change somebody's mind. Even if you don't change their mind, you might be able to increase their awareness. And we'll speak to that in a minute. So, you know, let's talk about the elderly person. You know, I've lived to 85 years old because I haven't ever ridden a motorcycle. Yeah, but, you know, I happen to know you also don't take your medications regularly. And that's, you know, putting yourself at risk. And you're also not keeping in mind the people that would be your dependent caretakers should that have an adverse effect on your health, either because it's a monetary issue or, you know, your doctor's asking you to get the generic and there's less efficacy in that pill, you know, what have you. So you can have that back and forth. You can pick things apart or you can choose to go about it in a different way. So what I like to do is put somebody's appetite for risk in perspective. So somebody who wouldn't ride a motorcycle might think nothing of getting on a zip line at a state park. I happen to know, not very far away from me at all, somebody died on a zip line in a state park, right? They had harnesses, they had instructors, they had, you know, a contained, controlled environment, and there was still a fatality. You know, if you look at that mortality rate per participant, it's far higher than a motorcycling activity. And, you know, people will inevitably pick that apart when you start getting factual like that, when you start backing up your position with statistics, but that's the reality of it. So if somebody bristles about that, what you can do is say, you know what? You're right. I'm absolutely vulnerable out there. You know, somebody can take me off the road with a Ford Festiva or a Yugo, you know, the Hollywood mystique of, you know, 5 guys on a bike pulling over a sedan and beating the crud out of the occupants is a complete myth. If I was in, you know, the littlest beater on the planet and some guys on bikes tried to do that to me, they'd be over the guardrail, right? And I'm not trying to create a violent image here or animosity or anything, but that's the actual reality of the situation. Is on the road, the 4-wheel vehicles are actually the ones in control. We have the ability to outbrake and outmaneuver and sometimes out accelerate, but if you are a sane person, the act of riding a motorcycle, driving, piloting a motorcycle on a public roadway is a purely defensive one. offense will only get you just so far. So let's stop for a minute and think about how we're going to react to this conversation before it happens. Your motivation for reacting to this in any particular fashion is both personal for yourself, and it's a point of advocacy for the rest of us out there. So it's like, you know what, hey, yeah, I am really vulnerable out there. Why don't you go out and support the existing laws on the books, like, for example, about hands-free cell phone use to eliminate distracted driving, prosecute the laws that are already in place when somebody makes an obstructive left turn in front of you. I have lights all over my bike. I can't tell you how many lumens I've put on it, my previous motorcycles and this existing one, and someone will shoulder me or cut in front of me and say, oh, I didn't even see you. And I'm wearing high-vis, lime green shirt. And, tell the nice officer how you couldn't see me, because they should lock you up for being a moron and blind. The truth of the matter is you just simply weren't paying attention to the environment. You as a motor vehicle operator were not engaged in the operation of the motor vehicle. You're playing with your phone, you're playing with your radio. If your radio is 10,000 watts and you can't hear what's going on around you, if your windows are so tinted you can't see what's outside, these are all detrimental things that you can change yourself or ask to be changed by others to improve safety for all. So rather than them just telling you not to ride a motorcycle, you can flip the burden of ownership of safety onto them and say, you're absolutely right. Why don't you help me stay alive? I'm going to continue to do this. We as motorcyclists who are have something cranially going on between the left and the right ear know that we have a higher appetite for risk than other people do. This is no different than somebody that snowboards or water skis or, does cliff climbing, free climbing, whatever the activity may be, where there is a safety margin that is less than 100%. We've done the math, the mental math ourselves. Hopefully you've done the mental math yourself and you've decided, hey, you know what, the juice is worth the squeeze. This is what I want to do. So when you're having this conversation with whomever it may be, let them know what you're doing to mitigate the situation. Why, yes, I do take my role in all this quite seriously. I have car insurance, I have motorcycle insurance, I have life insurance for when I'm driving a car, I have life insurance when I'm driving a motorcycle. It's no different. I have a seatbelt that I wear when I'm in the car, and I personally wear a helmet when I'm on a motorcycle. Some states don't give you a choice. I will give you an example. The state in which I live in says that as the motorcycle operator, you have to have a DOT, Department of Transportation, approved helmet that fits you. And you don't have to have it on your head, you have to have it on the bike. Talk about a loophole law. If you have a passenger, it becomes a little more gray. It depends on their age, etc. It has to fit them. It has to be DOT approved, and generally they have to have it on them. Depending on which officer you ask at the time, they'll have a different interpretation of the law the last time they read it. More and more states are adopting a motorcycle helmet law. I personally don't have a problem with it. I've worn helmets since I was on go-karts and dirt bikes and mini bikes when I was a kid. I just feel naked without it. I'm the same with a seatbelt, but I don't look down my nose at my friends that don't wear a helmet or wear what I call a tribute helmet, which is, the traditional skidlet. It's like, half a turtle shell on your head, and it's there for satisfying the red and the blue lights that might otherwise come on behind you versus any real benefit to your noggin if something should happen. I take risks with my safety gear in the summertime. I am just as likely to be found at GAT, all the gear all the time, as I am to be in a t-shirt and fingerless gloves with a full face helmet. And people are like, how ridiculous are you? You're not wearing fully protective gloves, you've got on long pants, you've got on nice riding shoes or boots, but you've got on fingerless gloves and the full face helmet. Well, you've only got one brain between your left and your right ear, right? You got 10 fingers. I can still peck something out on the keyboard with 3 or 4 fingers, but if the brain's offline, it doesn't really matter a whole lot. So that's kind of the mental math I'm doing, and that doesn't really add up for a lot of people. They think that's a very cavalier attitude, but that to me is the maximum amount of risk I want to take. Fast forward to the person on, and again, I'm not disparaging the entire category. I'm disparaging this one segment of rider on this one segment of bike. So the sport bike, the crotch rocket, the guy with nothing on but flip-flops and a pair of shorts. No helmet, no shirt, no nothing. This is somebody that just hasn't even looked at a YouTube on video. If you want to get an idea of what it means to not be properly protected at speed, just Google road rash girl and make sure that you have an empty stomach when you launch it. God love this girl. She put out her PSA. She learned her lesson more than the hard way. And if that's not enough to educate you to wear some manner of safety gear all the time, you're unteachable or you're immortal. And I want to know what your secret is. So you can talk to whomever you're engaged with and say, hey, I wear a helmet, I wear gloves, I put lights on my bike, I've got an extra loud horn. Regardless of what you think of the subject matter, I have loud exhaust, or my exhaust is only loud at highway volumes, whatever. I can blip the throttle and be heard over your car stereo, hopefully. I'm taking steps to make myself seen and heard, and I have vowed to myself and to others not to drive like an idiot. And you can choose to not drive like an idiot and improve your chances. Your motorcycle experience should always be defensive driving, the most defensive driving that you ever do on a motorcycle. If you're out there illegally lane splitting, not where it's legal and people expect it, but illegally lane splitting, going through a turn lane to go through an intersection that's otherwise stopped, obstructed, or has a signal or control that says you should have stopped, you're wheeling at highway speed, you're not wearing any gear whatsoever, you're engaging in excessive speed, you're riding after imbibing. This is a common problem, and I'll give you a little issue, a little idea of where I'm at on that. You can go out into town, you're at the rally and you leave the hotel and you go to your bike, you go into town, you tie one on. You can go out into town and tie one on and ride one back on your motorcycle. And before you fill the comment sections with your footnotes here, hear me out. That involves a lot of waiting, a lot of eating, a lot of coffee intake, and making sure your BAC is back down to normal before you ride. I didn't say drink a bunch and hop on your bike and go. I said it was doable. You could ride in to wherever, have a few drinks or what have you, and then ride home safely. But there are criteria that you have to meet to do that. I have a buddy that I've known for many, many decades, and we've gone to a couple of motorcycle events together. And the last one we went to, we said, "Hey, we're going to go into town and we're going to tie one on." And we talked about it. We really didn't want to be out to the wee hours of the morning, getting sobered up and then riding back with everybody else who hadn't sobered up, both in 4 wheels and 2. And we decided to take an Uber or a Lyft. We had a grand old time. Does that make you any less of a biker or motorcycle enthusiast? No, it makes you smart, right? It makes you put your personal safety and honestly having a better time ahead of everything else. And because of that, you're relaxed, you're not all twisted up and tense and, getting a tension headache or muscle tension issues. Just think about these things and let people know that this is your mindset, and it begins to change the conversation, because those same people that criticize you for that will think nothing of having a couple and jumping straight into the car and driving home, right? It's only when you're on two wheels that they think that this is an issue. No, that's an issue if you're on four wheels as well. But that's an entirely different subject covered by a bunch of other people on a bunch of other channels. So the upshot of this is, again, spoiler alert, you ride a motorcycle, you're all going to die. And another spoiler alert, even if you're not on a motorcycle, you're all going to die. So how much have you enjoyed yourself between point A and point B, right? Whether you're on a bike or you're in a car. A contributor to stress and disease and just general mental malaise and non-well-being is, just the stress of everyday life these days. And it has been scientifically proven. There's been a very recent study that proved that riding a motorcycle is what I said in one of my other videos. It's a reset button. It kind of is counterintuitive. You're so fully engaged in the moment that sounds like it's stressful, but everything else, if you're doing it right, is pushed to the side and pushed out of your mind. You're just carving turns, you're watching all your instrumentation, maintaining speed, head on a swivel, looking at traffic and everything. You're fully engaged in that moment and nothing else. And that sounds like a tense and, frustrating moment, but it's actually very relaxing. And people who haven't ridden don't quite get that. Some people that, do drag racing and autocross and things, where they're not street racing, they got an idea what you're talking about. Or they could be skiing or water skiing or, mountain climbing, whatever the case may be. They got an idea what you're talking about. So you're benefiting your mental health riding motorcycle. So try and frame the conversation in that way where you're flipping the ownership of safety onto them. You're showing the steps you're taking to protect yourself for you and others. And when I say others, I mean that literally. When you have an issue on your bike on the road, it's not just you going down, it's you and the person behind you. If you go down and the minivan with a family of 5 in it goes over your bike, you go safely off to the curb, hopefully, and they run over your bike, but the minivan flips with, 4 kids in there. That's horrible. But let's say they go over your bike, it damages their minivan, but they all survive, but you were on the bike. Those kids are scarred for life seeing your mangled carcass on the road. It's not all about you. It's about you and everybody else on the road. And that should be true whether you're on a motorcycle or you're in your car, your truck, or, your Winnebago, whatever it may be. So I hope this gave you a little food for thought. I hope we took a slightly negative topic and put a positive spin on it. Put some tools in your toolbox to think about how you go about your riding and how you converse with others and how you might make that teachable moment benefit us all by encouraging people to watch out for us. I've got a sticker in my rear window on a couple of my cars that say watch for motorcycles. I'm not saying, hey guys, I'm one of you, power to the, biker. I'm saying, when I'm not in this thing, I'm on a bike. Please keep your eyes open. That's the motivation behind it. And that's what you're trying to convey to everybody else. That environmental awareness that we're out there, and not just during the summer. We might be out there late fall. I ride through the winter and early spring, as well as the late fall and the summer months. So get people in that mindset as much as you can. And, if they really don't think that's enough, then, hey, there's something at their disposal. They can talk to their legislators to get the laws that are already on the books more fully enforced. I hope you enjoyed this segment. Ride safe. Namaste.